guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to be doing a full face of Maybelline. I was recently looking through my most recent uploads and I realized that with the exception of my ColourPop video, I've been using a lot of high-end makeup products on my channel and I really want to incorporate more drugstore looks. I went through my makeup collection and tried to figure out what brand I had most of in order to do a full face. So I settled on Maybelline for my first full face video. I had a lot of the products already. I think I only had to go out and purchase 4 products that I didn't have, which ended up being around $50, whereas if I did a full face of a certain brand from Sephora, it would be so expensive. So I'm going to do an entire full face Maybelline. The only product that I'm not going to use is brows because I swear by the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade and I just don't think that anything else looks good on me. I have a Maybelline brow product to talk about so that I do cover every product, but I won't be using it because I don't like it, but I will mention it once we get around to brows. And without any further ado, let's get into this full face of Maybelline. So the first product that I have to go in with is this Maybelline Master Prime. This is in the Blur and Smooth formula, and I'm going to apply a good amount just all over my face because I don't have any other primer to put on and I want to make sure I'm smooth and a little bit hydrated and that my foundation isn't just sticking to my face. That is my face with the primer applied. It's not balling up like some silicone primers do. I definitely don't feel as though it's hydrating. It's tacky, which I really like to go in with foundation, but I don't find it super hydrating and it's not too silicone-y, but I think it's a nice first base. So now that I've applied that, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation, and this is in 110 Porcelain, and I have already gone ahead and dampened my beauty blender. I really love this foundation. I picked it up not too long ago. It's called the Matte and Poreless, which you'd think might not work for my dry skin, but I really do like the way that it looks and the way that it holds up throughout the day. I don't find it too heavy and mattifying. It feels pretty lightweight going onto the skin, and I don't find that it adheres to my dry patches at all. It's just a really good basic foundation. It doesn't make me super matte, it doesn't make me super illuminated, but it's just like a good all-around foundation. And I have a lot of breakouts here that are healing, so they're actually flat, which is good because they'll be a little bit easier to conceal with concealer and powder and whatnot. You can tell that that first little layer hasn't fully covered them, so I'm going to put some on my forehead because I didn't have enough product to get it up there. Oh my god, that's a lot. Okay, so that is how the foundation looks applied. I think it leaves a really nice finish on my skin, and then I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and this is in number 5 Ivory. This is the latest one that they have. I used to use this concealer back in the day, in like first year of university, end of high school, and this was before they had extended their shade range, and the concealer was way too dark for me. So they recently extended their shade range and now they have one that's light enough for my super pale skin, and I do really like it. It's definitely not as full coverage as the Tarte Shape Tape or the Too Faced Born This Way, but in terms of drugstore concealers, this is probably my favorite one, and I did put on a ton of this just because I already said we are going to go for like a very glam look, and I have a lot of breakouts. I really want to be able to conceal those with the concealer and the powders that I'm going to use afterwards, and that's sitting really nicely under the eyes. It's super brightening, which is really nice. It's a nice formula, not too thick, it doesn't really crease, it doesn't really cake, it just does what you would want a concealer to do. So now to set the concealer in place, I'm going in with the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder in 05. This is one of my absolute favorite setting powders for the under eye, as well as for the area under the contour when I want to really make that line a little bit sharper. So I'm just going to really set in that under eye area and bake pretty hard because, as I said, I'm doing a glam look and I want this to last and I want it to be very brightening under the eyes. And then lastly, I'm going to highlight the chin area. Okay, now that that is set, I'm going to go in with this face powder. This is a new product to me, one that I picked up yesterday, and this is part of their Fit Me line. It is the Set and Smooth Face Powder, and I got the shade 120 Classic Ivory. Okay, that's looking a little bit dark on my skin. I don't know how well you're going to be able to tell. The kickback on this powder is pretty intense for a pressed powder. I would expect it to kick back a little less product than it is, but it is really, really powdery. It's honestly looking pretty good. As I said, it's pretty dry, but it's looking pretty flawless, very nicely blended. So just to save money, I picked up the Master Contour Face Contour Palette by Face Studio. I wanted to pick up some of their other highlighters. I know that they're known to have pretty decent highlighters, but my skin is so fair, and the only one that would really suit me was the very pinky one, and I don't necessarily love a super pinky highlighter. Okay, so that is how the bronzer is looking. It's very intense. I would say that it's definitely more of a bronzer than a contour because it is very warm tone and it is super, super pigmented, so you definitely need to be careful with it. I went a little heavy-handed because I'm used to like Benefit Hoola, which you can build up. So I'm going to go over it a tiny bit with the face powder, and then I'm going to set underneath it with the loose Fit Me powder so that I can get more of a sharp line, because right now it goes down pretty low. We are going to try and go in with this highlighter. It is a little dark for me, but probably fine for the cheek area. It is pretty pigmented. If you're on a budget, this is honestly a decent highlighter, especially if you have a little bit darker skin than me. I'm sure this would show up a little bit more. That gets a thumbs up for me. Other than being too dark, I'm going to go over the nose highlights with the face powder just because it's really bothering me in the viewfinder. Okay, now that I've fixed that a little bit, we are going to go into this blush. The blush has a tiny bit of a sheen to it. I wouldn't say that it's a shimmer or a sparkle, but it does have a little bit of a sheen, so just be aware with that if you like a really matte blush typically. Okay, now that all of that is done, it's looking a little intense for my liking, so I'm going to go back over that, especially the blush contour area, with the face powder, just the pressed powder, and try and tone that down a bit. Okay, so my camera actually just shut down. It was getting too heated. I've been filming for too long. So I went off camera and did my brows with the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Blonde. But I just wanted to quickly mention this Maybelline Tattoo Studio. So that is what the tip there looked like. You can see that there's like 3 little prongs and it's a little marker type pen. So I purchased this product wanting to get a little bit more feathery brows, to do this little inner part a little bit. It just really has no pigmentation to it. It's super, super light. I find it very streaky. I don't like the color. It's blonde, but it's like a little greeny golden. So overall, I would not recommend the Brow Studio pen. That's why I didn't use it for this video, but it is Maybelline. So if you were looking for a Maybelline brow option, I would not recommend this Tattoo Studio. Okay, now we are ready to move on to eyes, which I'm actually really excited for. You're going to be playing around with the City Mini palette. I think these shades are just really, really pretty. I swatched this gold one yesterday and it's actually very, very pigmented. So to start, I'm going to go in with this shade. It's more orangey brown, super, super pretty. And I'm just taking this on a Morphe eye brush and I'm just going to buff that into the crease really lightly. It definitely has pigment to it. I haven't tried any drugstore shadow shades in years aside from the Rimmel Magnifies palettes. I own 2 of those and I really, really like them. Now that that shade is applied, I'm going to go in with a little bit of this pinky shade. I just think it's a really beautiful shade and it's not something that you would typically see in a neutral palette, so I wanted to work it into my look today. I really like what this pink shade is adding to the look. It's definitely true to color in the palette. It's like a very nice warm peachy pink. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this deeper brown shade, and I'm taking it on this kind of flatter Morphe crease brush. This is the Morphe M433, and I'm going to focus this a little more in my outer V to deepen it up a bit and take away a bit of that warmth, make it a little more cool, being super careful to try and not get so much fallout because it's a little deeper and that could potentially mess up my under eye area and make it a little darker and take away that brightening that I want. And now I'm going to take this gold all over my lid. I'm not going to do a cut crease, honestly, because I'm lazy, but I'm going to take it with this Morphe M124. This is a really good packing brush, and pick up that gold and pack it all over my lid. Wow, that's really pretty. Flaking a tiny bit, so perhaps I should have done a cut crease. It probably would have adhered better to concealer than to a dry shadow, but that was my fault. I was trying to rush things a little bit and I didn't really think about that, but I also didn't know how it was going to perform. So I'm going to go ahead and take more of this loose powder. This is honestly such a savior product, and I'm going to pack on a bunch of it and wipe away all of that fallout because I really don't want sparkly gold under eyes. Okay, I think we got it all. So now we're going to go into my mascara combination. This is the part that I'm probably most excited to try because the Maybelline Lash Sensational is one of my favorites. I really, really like it for length and volume. It's just a really good all-around mascara. And then as I was looking for products for this video yesterday at Walmart, I spotted the Maybelline Falsies Volume Express in Flared, and this was my go-to absolute favorite mascara in the world in high school. So I had to pick it up. I want to see what it looks like layering the two. I'm going to start out with this one and then go in with this flared one to kind of flare out my lashes. So we're just going to go in with mascara and see how intense we can get my lashes. This Falsies mascara can get a little bit clumpy if you aren't careful. I definitely had that issue in high school, so I'm trying my hardest not to apply too much and to try and separate my lashes. Okay, so that is how it looks like with the mascara. I think it looks pretty good. I honestly missed this mascara so much. I can't believe I haven't even tried it since high school. Now I'm just going to take this brush that we used to pack on this darker brown color. I'm going to pick up a tiny bit of that darker brown, smoke out the lower lash line a little bit. This isn't something that I typically do, but I kind of just feel like it today. So we're going to do that and then apply just the Lash Sensational on the bottom lashes because I feel like the falsies will be a little bit too gunky for the lower lash line. Okay, now it is time for the lip shade, and I have two lip products to put together. First is the Maybelline 235 in Warm Me Up. I absolutely love this lip color. It's not too opaque, it's not very mattifying, it has a little bit of a sheen to it, and it's a really, really pretty neutral pink, which you guys know is my go-to. So I'm going to put this on, and then I have a gloss to top it off with. So I do just want to add a gloss on top of that. So I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Vivid Hot Lacquer in 662 Cute. This isn't my favorite gloss formula. It's a little heavy, it's a little opaque, and it's a little sticky, but I think it'll go well with the look, and I haven't tried it out too much, so I feel like I need to give it another go. Okay, so I applied a little more blush and a little more highlight, and that is the finished look. I think it looks really good for drugstore. This is making me excited to try out more drugstore products. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I hope that you had an absolutely awesome day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!